Live from WRAL News Headquarters in Raleigh, your number one source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
A few showers are already showing up on dual Doppler 5000 radar. More to come this afternoon, and I'll show you who could see some severe storms and flooding.
Caught in the middle, a 15-year-old bystander struck by gunfire is in recovery. What he plans to do less than 24 hours after being shot.
And we have liftoff less than 24 hours after abandoning the launch. A SpaceX rocket carrying a UNC alumna is headed to space.
That's so cool to see. We have a cold front.
Welcome back. 12:13 on your Friday afternoon. Plenty of people enjoying Carolina Beach. You're watching WRAL News, available on Spectrum and the WRAL app on your TV or streaming device.
Prosecutors in Arkansas say a man charged with a gruesome double murder confessed to the crime. Newly released video shows Andrew McGann being booked into jail after his arrest. Clinton and Kristen Brink were killed on a family hike at Devil's Den State Park. Police believe McGann attacked the father first while the wife took their daughters to safety. Investigators say he attacked the mother when she went back to help her husband. The children were not physically harmed. Officers say they have not found a connection between the suspect and the victims.
The family of one of Jeffrey Epstein's most prominent accusers is speaking publicly for the first time. Members of Virginia Jeffrey's family says that she told them she supported the release of the Epstein files before her death earlier this year. NBC's Hallie Jackson shares their pleas to the president not to pardon Ghislaine Maxwell.
President Trump this morning facing new questions about Jeffrey Epstein and one of the convicted sex offender's most vocal accusers, Virginia Giuffre, who worked at Mar-a-Lago decades ago while in high school. The president said this week Epstein stole her away.
Did you know why he was taking those young women, including Virginia?
No, I didn't know. But I said if he's taking anybody from Mar-a-Lago, he's hiring or whatever he's doing. I didn't like it, and we threw him out.
Now, the family of Giuffre, who died by suicide in April, is speaking publicly.
It does make us question how much did he know?
And responding to this moment Tuesday on Air Force One, as the president referenced Epstein and Giuffre.
He stole her. And by the way, she had no complaints about us, as you know. None whatsoever.
What went through your mind when you heard that?
I think we were shocked by it. Especially to use the term stolen, because she's not an object, she's a person. She's a mom, she's a sister.
The White House press secretary says the president was directly responding to a question posed by a reporter about Ms. Giuffre. He did not bring her up. President Trump has denied any knowledge of Epstein's wrongdoing as he's come under scrutiny for his administration's handling of the Epstein case, with a chorus of calls from some supporters to release more information, a move her family says Giuffre supported.
One of our very, very last conversations on FaceTime, she had a little bit of hope in her because it was said that the files were going to be released.
Giuffre said it was Epstein's convicted accomplice, Ghislaine Maxwell, who recruited and trafficked her. The family now urging President Trump not to pardon Maxwell, something her attorney has publicly floated.
It would be an abomination. Our sister always told us that Maxwell was even worse than Epstein.
That was Hallie Jackson reporting. A therapist for some of Epstein's alleged victims says some feel like their trauma is being reduced to political talking points.
A massive 5-alarm fire destroyed a vacant warehouse in Rochester, New York. The flames destroyed this vacant building, which was set to be renovated into affordable housing. Some of the units were earmarked for veterans. The flames could be seen on tower cameras across the city. The cause of the fire is under investigation. No serious injuries were reported. And from that fire to flooding, millions of people are feeling the impacts of dangerous rainfall and flash flooding across the mid-Atlantic and Northeast. Video from New York shows flooded streets and subways. Officials say they have already had to perform water rescues. New York City and New Jersey have declared states of emergency. Severe flooding was also reported in Maryland.
Yeah, the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic really getting battered by all of that rain. We're going to see some rain later today, but nothing like that.
No, pretty spotty stuff.
Yeah.
And we're going to get out of these hot temperatures. Still a little humid out there, though. Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center with those storm threats.
So we do have that front that's stalled in the southern part of our viewing area. It needs to slip all the way down into South Carolina to allow some of that drier air to arrive, and that's not likely to happen today. We do have that level 1 severe threat in our southern counties, so just a few isolated wind damage potential there. And of course, we do have that small threat for some flooding, especially in the Sandhills. So we're going to be watching the showers and storms developing. Just some light patchy rain right now falling across parts of the viewing area. You can see some showers and storms up across the mountains, and some of those may drop in on us a little later on too. So just past Siler City, moving across Pittsboro, a sprinkle or two around Southern Pines, and then just south of Clinton. So not much rain out there right now, but just a few sprinkles. We take a look at Futurecast and roll it through as we get through the afternoon. Again, down to our south, that's where, or I should say in our southern counties, is where most of this will likely begin to develop. And then it starts to push northward. At 5 o'clock, we're seeing some of that rain around Raleigh, and then it slides eastward with another round potentially later on during the evening. No matter where you are, you could see some of these showers. The rain is likely to be heavy at times. There's so much moisture in the atmosphere, but the better chance for flooding and severe weather will be in our southern counties. Stretching from Clinton to Fayetteville to Southern Pines to Siler City is where we'll have the best chance of some wind that could do some damage. We take a live look at downtown Raleigh. Lots of events happening this weekend. Saturday and Sunday look fantastic, but they're setting up right here in City Plaza for Shop and Rock, and that sounds like a really fun event. You can see it's a little breezy out there right now. Hopefully, they'll be able to get that in without too much in terms of showers and thunderstorms. 79 right now with a dew point of 75, so it's warm, but not as hot as it was yesterday, but that dew point is as high, so it's still very muggy outside right now. So we do have a little bit of the heat index. It does feel like 82 in Durham and Raleigh, not so bad, but it feels like 90 in Fayetteville, 100 in Clinton, 91 in Goldsboro and Rocky Mount. All this should feel better tomorrow. Watch how all that happens. We'll see this front continuing to slide southward, and then here comes the dry air. The green shaded area is where we have a lot of humidity in the atmosphere. As we get into the weekend, especially Raleigh northward, we start to feel more comfortable. Now, if you're going to be a little farther south, especially say around Clinton or closer to the coast, you may not see as big a change in our humidity. But we should knock it down a couple of notches from tropical to steamy and then tolerable on Sunday and Monday. I know tolerable doesn't sound great, but trust me, it'll be better than the way it's been feeling. 88 today, and then 82 Saturday and 84 Sunday. So again, a nice change in our temperature over the weekend. Looking forward, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we're back to a chance of some scattered showers and thunderstorms. Coming up, we're going to talk a little bit more about how much rain we could see across our area this afternoon and evening.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Those 80s do look nice.
Yes, they do.
Coming up on WRAL News at 4 p.m. Follow-up today after yesterday's WRAL Investigates report. Employees told us they were owed thousands of dollars by a Durham-based nonprofit. New today, we are hearing from more people who say they are owed money. And Sarah Kruger tracked down the CFO in person.
And then at 5, broken equipment. Inspectors found multiple appliances in need of repair that could affect food safety. Coming up, 5 on your side shows us the violations in this week's restaurant ratings. Plus, still ahead this noon, a TSA scam. Why efforts to skip the line at the airport could put your personal information in the wrong hands.
Reducing opioid addiction. Changes are coming to labels on all opioid medications. 3 major updates the FDA hopes will help patients make more informed decisions. Airports across the country are seeing increased volume this summer. This is a live look at RDU International Airport Terminal 2. This is where a passenger traffic, I should say, set a new record in 2024 with TSA PreCheck allowing travelers to breeze through airport security. Griff Jenkins shares a crucial warning, though. Make sure the information is being submitted on the official government site.
As the White House works to beef up America's cybersecurity, the administration is warning air travelers of a new online threat. The TSA just posted an alert on social media about a new email scam targeting the PreCheck program. Scammers are sending lookalike emails and ads claiming to be from the government, offering to sign you up or renew your PreCheck membership.
It's called malvertising, which is malware inside of their advertising, and they're using AI to look very, very legit. That's why a lot of people are falling for this.
Experts say the so-called phishing scams like this work in part because some folks don't understand how PreCheck works. You can only sign up or renew in person or on this official TSA PreCheck website. And scammers are taking advantage of the confusion to trick people into handing over their personal information and even their money.
Red flags to look out for here: email links, high pressure tactics, rushed payment requests. Scam sites are made to use these.
The Federal Trade Commission also just issued a warning to help travelers spot the scam before it's too late. And they say folks can avoid getting targeted in the first place if they'll just ramp up security on their personal computers.
Use very strong antivirus protection on all of your devices. That can help prevent these kinds of attacks from even getting to you.
That was Griff Jenkins reporting. Experts say travelers who fall for these scams wouldn't know they've been duped until they attempt to stand in the pre-check line while flying.
The cost of a hospital visit can be costly, but a California woman left with a $7,800 bill for parking. The patient only spent 45 minutes at the hospital, so obviously it was a mistake. The machine said she entered the lot 3 years ago, and a human attendant accused the woman of parking there for weeks.
It's not okay. This is healthcare. Something like $8,000 if someone paid with a debit card, which I did not, could be the difference between, paying your rent or mortgage, paying for medications.
And the right people finally got involved. Parking Company of America and the hospital apologized for the mistake, and they issued a refund.
Glad they did.
Yeah.
Bracing for higher prices, which products could get more expensive under the president's latest rounds of tariffs?
Plus, a stolen statue, a tribute to an Olympic athlete taken under the cover of darkness. Why the theft is particularly malicious. And as we head to break, here's a look at your NC Education lottery numbers. Good luck.
Shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your number one source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
New tariffs will go into effect in less than a week. They were expected to go into effect today, but President Trump pushed back the deadline to August 7th. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey has a look at what the new tariffs could mean for U.S. businesses and shoppers.
Sweeping tariffs were set to go into effect today, but President Trump has pushed back that deadline. Now the effect on the prices that you pay here at the grocery store may be a little bit delayed. We spoke with economist Elizabeth Pancotti about which products may have higher price tags due to these tariffs. She says no item is off this list.
It is going to be all consumer goods, from something as small as a banana. There are steep tariffs on Brazil. Bananas and coffees are primarily imported from there, all the way up to something as expensive as a car or a big industrial tractor or a factory machine.
Pancotti says prices for shoes and backpacks could also go up, but those increases may not happen until after back-to-school season is over. Even though these new tariffs are set to go into effect in less than a week, people may not notice changes in prices until next month or even as late as December. That new tariff deadline is set for next Thursday, August 7th. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News in Cary.
Destiny Patterson here in the WRAL Live Center. A UNC graduate is up in the outer space, orbiting on her way to the International Space Station. Take a listen to that liftoff.
3, 2, 1, ignition. Engine's full power and liftoff. Go Falcon, go NASA, go Crew 11.
Go Crew 11. Now, that UNC graduate is one of 4 people that's on board that spacecraft there. And I want you to take a look. This right here is Zena Cardman. She is a UNC Chapel Hill grad, as you've probably heard me mention a couple of times now. And they took off. They're now at 17,000 miles per hour, and that spacecraft is already flying on its own. Once they get to the International Space Station, they're going to be doing some research, even do a moon landing simulation. So there's a lot to be learned from this mission.
No doubt. Thanks, Destiny. The Pentagon has scheduled its first major test of the Golden Dome missile defense system. The Phase 1 test is set for just before the 2028 election, which aligns with President Trump's pledge to have it done in 3 years. The Golden Dome is the president's vision for a multi-billion-dollar space-based shield that can protect the entire U.S. The Missile Defense Agency would carry out the testing. Dozens of companies are trying to get a role in developing Golden Dome, including SpaceX. Wind-related energy projects are being blown away by the Trump administration. The Interior Department's Bureau of Ocean Energy Management is rescinding large sections of ocean that were going to be used for offshore wind projects. The wind projects were put in place by the Obama White House and expanded years later by President Joe Biden.
About 2 hours ago, President Trump officially endorsed Republican National Committee Chairman Michael Whatley's run for the U.S. Senate in North Carolina. The president previously threw his support behind Whatley. That brings the number of Republican candidates in the race to 3. The winner will likely take on former Governor Roy Cooper in next year's election. Whatley has been a political operative and lobbyist for many years.
Our campaign will be about North Carolina values. We will fight for a strong economy, safe communities, and America that is respected around the world. And we will win because we will fight every single day for North Carolina and the values that we hold so dear.
Whatley attacked Cooper and former President Joe Biden in his announcement. He said their response to Helene was lacking. Whatley says that he'll make sure that never happens again. Whatley will join 2 other Republican candidates who have already entered the race, Don Brown and Andy Nelson. And Cooper announced Monday that he would enter the race. Our NC Capitol team has a full assessment of Cooper, Whatley, and the other candidates. You'll find their complete coverage on WRAL.com and the WRAL News app.
Part of Durham Street is closed right now after a water main break. The water main break has West Knox Street closed from 9th Street to Iredell Street. Ali Kadlubar explains the traffic impacts and what's being done to fix it.
Yes, crews are prepping to get to work here. There's a lot of work to be done. You can see there's 2 holes in the road. That one hole we actually saw sink down within the span of an hour with water flowing out. And then the other hole, we saw water coming out around 6:30. This is video from the WRAL breaking news tracker. You can see water coming out, flowing down the road. Now, this stretch on West Knox Street between 9th and Iredell is closed as crews continue to work. We are working to find out how this will impact residents and businesses on this stretch. Reporting in Durham, Ali Kadlubar, WRAL News.
Also in Durham, a neighborhood is on the lookout after reports of people and pets being bitten by a fox. This happened in the Carolina Arbors neighborhood. According to the sheriff's office, there have been 3 reports of fox attacks. A neighborhood safety group says several more people are reporting scary run-ins with the fox. WRAL sat down with one family who had to fight to get the fox off their dog.
Jumped on it. I must have been screaming. I was kicking it, jumping on it, stomping on it. And I realized, as I was doing that, I realized it was actually attached to her harness and not to her neck. So then I gave it a huge kick and finally it got off.
Lucky he didn't get bit, too. The neighborhood has set up traps to catch this wily fox right there. If you happen to run into a fox, the sheriff's office says, call animal control.
Right now, members of the Clayton Police and Fire Departments are creating trauma kits for children in crisis. Kids for Kids gives first responders special tools designed to help them interact with traumatized children during emergency calls. Officers, firefighters, and organization founders will assemble 300 kits today. This is happening at the Walmart on Town Center Boulevard. First responders will then be able to use the kits during different calls to help children in distress.
Also happening today, the Raleigh Police Department is holding its last Raleigh Hoop Night of the summer. Tonight's event is happening at Green Road Park from 7 to 9. These events give Raleigh kids and teens a chance to connect with officers. They'll play a friendly game of basketball in a safe environment. You can register for Hoop Nights on the city's website.
Parents, listen up. Nearly 200,000 play kitchens are being recalled after a child death. We'll tell you which model we're talking about and how that child died.
Scientists are looking into a potential cure for obesity and diabetes. why they are looking into the hibernation gene for this. And for news, traffic, and weather of the day, be sure to download the WRAL News app.
Nearly 200,000 play kitchens are being recalled after a toddler's death. The recall involves the Backyard Kids KidCraft Farm to-table model play kitchen sets. They were sold on Amazon and Walmart.com from 2018 to July of this year. A 23-month-old died after their shirt got caught on one of the hooks. Owners should immediately stop using it, remove the hooks, and contact Backyard Kids for free replacement hooks. And the reduction in demand for COVID vaccines is hitting Moderna. The company says it plans to cut 10% of its global workforce by the end of the year. That will leave it with fewer than 5,000 employees. Moderna specializes in mRNA vaccines. The company's RSV vaccine is expected to get regulatory approval later this month. It would be the first vaccine approved for something other than COVID.
The FDA is taking new action in the fight against the opioid crisis. Opioid medications will now carry stronger safety labels that better reflect the risks of long-term use. The updated labels will also remove language that could be seen as supporting indefinite use. It will also include new warnings about dose-related risks, withdrawal, and information about overdose reversal drugs like naloxone. President Trump is bringing back the presidential fitness test to help fight childhood obesity. The president signed an order directing a new sports council to create school-based programs that reward excellence in physical education. They'll also develop criteria for a presidential fitness award. The test was first introduced in 1966 by President Lyndon B. Johnson.
Unbelievable bravery in the face of danger.
Honestly, I don't look at it as being heroic. It was more of just an instinct.
How a valet driver helped save a man during a mass shooting at a casino.
Plus, tomato, potato. What is it? New research may explain why ketchup goes so well with French fries.
A valet worker is being credited for saving a man's life during a mass shooting at a hotel casino in Reno earlier this week. The man's family expressed gratitude for his bravery during an emotional news conference. 33-year-old Matt Stilter was shot twice as he ran for safety. As he ran past a vehicle, he heard someone shout, "Come this way." That's when the driver jumped out of the car and grabbed Matt before he collapsed and fell backwards unconscious.
It was the best feeling seeing, I get to see his face, not how I seen it last. I'm glad I'm not the last person he gets to talk to because he doesn't deserve that. I'm glad he's with his family.
3 people were killed in the shooting. The gunman who was shot by police died yesterday. Stilter's family has set up a GoFundMe page to support Stilter and Macedo, who is dealing with the emotional aftermath of that shooting.
A new breakthrough could open the door for new treatments for obesity and diabetes. Researchers say animals and humans share common gene clusters responsible for hibernation. During that period, the animals' metabolisms are controlled, which allows them to gain and lose weight without damaging their health. Researchers say if they can identify and manipulate control switches for these types of genes, it could help humans control their metabolism, resulting in better weight control. Talk about a random connection here. Scientists have traced the origin of the modern-day potato to wild tomato plants. Biologists say about 9 million years ago, an ancient wild tomato plant inbred with a potato-like plant called Eutuberosum, and that was in South America. I don't know. Researchers say both plants split from the same ancestor 5 million years prior, so that cross-pollination gave the ancient potato tubers, which allow the plant to survive in harsh environments.
Oh my gosh.
So the tomato and potato were,
tomato.
once one.
Yeah.
That's why
Very
I like
interesting.
ketchup on your French fries.
Or mayo.
No,
I like
they
mayo on my
didn't.
French fries.
They didn't cross-pollinate with mayo plants.
Oh, my goodness. All right, let's get over to meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner, who probably likes ketchup on her French fries.
I do not. No,
You don't?
No, Michelle. I'm kind of like you. I like a garlic aioli on my
there you
French
go.
fries.
Perfect.
Perfect. Gotta fancy this up a little bit here. I think that's my favorite story of the whole day. Because, hey, I think we're all starving. It's lunchtime. All right, let's talk about the serious stuff. We have a chance for some flooding, especially from the Triangle area south, where the Storm Prediction Center update, or I should say the Weather Prediction Center, upgraded our potential for flooding. And I'm going to show you that map right after we talk about this. Also, a small chance for some gusty winds in our southern counties. Now, here's what's happening once the front moves through. That front's going to continue to trek on down to the south, and eventually it's going to open the door to some cooler, drier air. We're not going to feel that today, but we should start to feel it for tomorrow, and it really kicks into high gear on Sunday. Dew points could drop into the upper 50s to low 60s, which puts us in that comfy to tolerable zone. This is a look at the new information that came in just a little while ago. Our flood risk, instead of being in our southern counties, is now for almost the entire viewing area at a medium risk. And so there's so much moisture in the atmosphere. The last few days you've been outside and it feels like, you could carry the air around. It's so moist and heavy. Well, when the storms begin this afternoon, there's a lot of moisture for them to tap into, and we'll likely have a lot of heavy downpours. Let's talk about what one of the computer models is showing in terms of how much rain we can see. Notice the totals are pretty light up to the north. It's definitely going to be Triangle area southward that we see some of those heavier rainfall totals. We're going to probably end up somewhere between a half an inch and an inch as an average, but there could be some pockets where it's heavier, especially in our southern counties, where we may just have a few cells that pop up and continue to develop in the same place over and over. We call that training, sort of like train cars moving over the same part of a track. And so if we see that, then we could end up with some flooding. Also, the risk of some severe storms in terms of wind damage from Siler City to Sanford to Fayetteville to Clinton on through the Sandhills. Here's a look at what's happening right now. Our cold front is, again, in eastern North Carolina. It's going to continue to push away from us, but where it is right now, it's still in place to continue to bring us a chance for showers and storms as we get through the day today. We'll push it on ahead, and once we get to 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, we'll likely see a good bit more rain. And watch how that starts to lift northward as we get closer to 5 or 6 o'clock. There may be some breaks on and off, but we'll likely see these showers and thunderstorms at least through midnight, if not a little bit beyond. So you probably don't need to do any watering today unless you're along the Virginia line. But as we get through the next few days, we'll dry out a bit, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday look wetter. Let's talk temperatures. Our normal high is 90, and we've been, way up in the mid to upper 90s. We're still warm and muggy today, but it should feel much more comfortable Saturday and especially Sunday and Monday before we start to heat things up again. Our heat index forecast for this afternoon is going to range anywhere from the mid 80s in the north to potentially around 100 down south, just because we have so much moisture in the atmosphere. Lots of cloud cover out there right now. We're still waiting on the rain to develop. It's likely to pick up across our area by the middle of the afternoon, and then more rounds of rain Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. But really, the weekend looks like it's going to be nice. There's some festivals out there. It'll feel more comfortable. Hopefully, you'll get a chance to get out.
Hopefully. All right. Thanks, Elizabeth. Birkin bag buyer, the person who paid a record $10 million for the original, reveals what was happening behind the scenes of the bidding war. As we wrap things up, here's a look at a few of the headlines we are following today. We are learning more about a fiery crash on I-540 in Raleigh. Police were on the scene near Leesville Road for hours last night. Officers say the driver of a Subaru tried to change lanes, causing the driver of a Chevrolet to swerve. That driver then overcorrected, causing both vehicles to veer off the road, down an embankment, and crash into trees. The driver of the Chevrolet died. No charges have been filed.
A teenage boy who was injured by a ricochet bullet on the Outer Banks is now with his family and ready to go fishing. The Avalon Fishing Pier in Kill Devil Hills posted this picture a few hours ago. The teen is accompanied by an employee who helped him before the ambulance arrived yesterday. That teen was then flown to a hospital in Virginia where he was treated and released. The other person who was shot died. Police say the suspect was arrested in Southern Shores.
Try 2 is a success. A UNC grad officially on the way to space after a successful launch just before noon. Tar Heel Zena Cardman is among NASA's SpaceX Crew 11 that blasted off in a Falcon 9 rocket heading for the International Space Station. The launch was originally supposed to happen yesterday, but it was scrubbed just about a minute before liftoff because of weather. The crew will perform research, technology, demonstrations, and maintenance aboard the ISS.
We now know who paid $10 million for the original Birkin bag. It was not Elizabeth Gardner. The Hermes Birkin, designed for a 60s icon, smashed auction records last month. The winning bidder is a former Japanese soccer player turned businessman. The Tokyo-based collector revealed what was going on during the dramatic 10-minute bidding war. He says he and his team were trying to force their opponent to give up by making a bid without delaying. His strategy paid off, and the company plans to put it on exhibit at museums and other venues.
Yeah, I wasn't the buyer either, unfortunately.
You were out.
I was out.
Out early.
Yeah. All right. Well, police are searching for the person who stole a tribute to Olympic gymnast Suni Lee. The statue was unveiled on Sunisa Day in 2023, making Lee the first female athlete to be honored with a statue in a St. Paul park. Police say the bust was taken from its pedestal near a lake, along with this stone bearing Lee's name. Officers are unclear exactly when it was stolen, but investigators believe it happened between Wednesday and Thursday.
Open your heart to a new home and pet. Well, that's Clear the Shelters. It's back. WRAL proud to be part of this heartwarming journey to help pets across our community find their new loving homes. You can join us and furry friends get forever families. That's the perfect match, right? Find a participating shelter near you. Learn about Clear the Shelters. It's on right now. Visit WRAL.com/shelters.
Which brings us to the pet of the day from the SPCA of Wake County. Midge is a 6-year-old female rabbit. She's energetic. She gets the zoomies. She loves being held. She's lived with a large dog before and did really well. She's playful. And as part of the Clear the Shelters kickoff, adoption fees at SPCA Wake will be waived.
All right.
Yes.
Clear those shelters.
Clear
Help
the
us out.
shelters. Yeah.
NBC News Daily is up next on WRAL. Have a great, safe weekend.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air Channel 34 and Spectrum Channel 1257.